ever been in a gunfight? In an audition? In this video, I'll show you how to work with props for self-tapes and more importantly, how to endow props so that your performance always rings true. I'm Anonymous from Anonymous Actor Tips, where I help you get on TV, in movies, and on stage. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any tricks of the trade. Let's get it. I'm going to start out with TV and film auditions today, and then I'll transition into theater. Okay, so for in-person TV or film auditions, I know what you're thinking, it's mostly self-tapes right now, but when you get to the network test, they'll most likely still be in person, so be ready. So for in-person auditions, you don't want to bring in any props other than maybe a cell phone or something that can come easily in and out of your pocket or purse. If it's small enough to be handled and not too distracting in a medium close-up, which is essentially the frame that I'm in right now, then go for it. But if not, don't bring in any large, cumbersome props. It makes it all about the prop and not your work. Do not bring a gun into an audition, fake or real. This is a prop gun I've used for several self-tapes over the years. Amazon, $25. Looks pretty good, right? If I brought this into the casting office, they'd be petrified, even if I entered with a smile and a pepperoni pizza. You know how Nike says just do it? I'm saying the opposite. Also, ladies, don't bring in a hairdryer to suggest a gun. Yes, I've seen this too, and it's not good. Or for a shotgun, don't bring in a broomstick. There have been 3 or 4 casting offices that have had prop guns available in the room for actors to use when they come in, which was super helpful. But if not, you can simply use your hand. Simple. When in person, minimize any props you bring into the room. Again, if it's a cell phone for a scene, or maybe some lipstick if you're getting ready for a night out and you're looking in the mirror, ladies, that's fine. In general, if the prop is larger than your hand, it's probably best to mime it. And in a perfect world, you mime it under, over, or to the left or right of frame. That's why you always want to ask the casting director what's your frame when you get into the room, so you have a general idea where to place any major business of the scene. Okay, so that's for in-person auditions. If you have any questions so far, put them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, since the world has gone self-tape mode, let's talk about the best way to use props in your home studio. So, back to guns. Use them to your heart's content. Here, you're here. But quite frankly, if you're in a tight frame, most of the business handling the gun will be off camera like this. It'll be under the frame. Now, the majority of the props that you use for your self-tape will be easily conveyed by putting them around the frame of your camera. So let's use the painting the fence example. You can paint vertically. Hey Bob, you check out that game? Triple overtime, crazy, right?
Wild.
I know. See you later. Or you can paint horizontally. Hey Beth, love what you did with the Christmas lights this year.
Oh, thanks. I gotta run.
Okay. Also, when you're dealing with a physical activity in a scene, you get to choose when to look at your scene partner or reader based on when this story escalates. For example, let's say I'm painting here, have this friendly chit-chat with Beth, and I'm down here, and then out of the blue...
Chris got arrested.
What? Why? What did he do? The physical shift of bringing my head up and abandoning my task of painting helps to escalate the moment and push the story forward. Major tip, write this down. Anytime there's a big piece of information in a scene, try to have your attention or at least your eyes off the reader before it's revealed, so that when they drop that bombshell on you, you can bring your eyes and full attention onto them. This is a trick that is used over and over and over in all types of genres for any major moments in the scene. It's a very important tool you can use throughout your career. If this makes sense so far and you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Other common setups you can put right under the frame are any scene working on a laptop, if you don't want to actually have the laptop in frame. I'm typing away, they say I'm busy at something, someone comes in.
They fired Tony.
Huh? Or what if you're cooking a meal in a kitchen? Let's say you're chopping up vegetables. Hey honey, dinner will be ready soon. Or you're sauteing something in a pan. Just put it all under the frame. They know what's going on. Or what if you're a bartender pouring drinks? Hey, what can I get you, buddy?
2 old fashions.
Coming up. You guys new to the neighborhood?
Just moved in last week.
Ah, cool. Happy hour still 6. Here's the menu. Or let's say you're wiping down the bar at the end of your shift. You're down here, you're busy, you're working. Someone comes in. Oh, you forgot your jacket, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I just saw it in the back. Maybe you're out in the desert and you're at the campfire trying to stay warm. Hands right there under frame, warming up at the fire. If an object takes you down to the ground or near the floor, make sure to cheat your eye line up a little bit so it's a little higher, because if not, casting won't be able to see your eyes. They'll just see the top of your head or your eyelids. Okay, so what if the action is above the frame? Let's say you're changing a new light bulb. You're up here. You put it right over the frame. Simple. Make sure your arms don't block your face. And again, make sure your eyes are in frame. You don't want to go too high up because then they'll just be looking into your nostrils. So right here. And when someone comes into the room, easy transition.
Have you seen Jess?
Huh?
Jess, did you tell her she could leave?
I told her she's not going anywhere until she cleans that mess she made in the garage.
Well, she's not here.
Are you kidding? All right, hold on. Also, you want to make sure that your hands are out of frame though. When we can see your hands not actually holding or dealing with a prop on camera, it takes away from the experience. So just be mindful of your frame before you start. Other common above the scene frames include putting things away in a cupboard, climbing a ladder, anything that calls for a prop or movements north of your head. This is when you use this setup. Okay, and what about things that are off to the side? In general, I like to use stuff off to the side sparingly because we lose one of your eyes in the frame. Most of these scenarios could still play out perfectly well in less than 45 degrees to the left or the right, but if you have to go profile, make sure it's a brief moment. You don't want to get caught with an eye out of frame for more than a second or two. So let's say your coworker in the cubicle next to you hands you a quarterly report. Grab it, right back in, read it. Damn, we're going to have to catch up next month, huh?
They already fired Tony.
Tell me about it. Again, keep most of the business in frame. So your reaction to the quarterly report or whatever it is going to be in frame with both your eyes in frame. And then if you have to deal with them, it's just quick back and forth. Now, when it comes to theater auditions, again, you don't want to bring in any large, cumbersome props. When you walk into the space, you don't want to be carrying any unnecessary items that you'll have to hold along with your audition sides, which are the script pages, if you're not totally off book. Usually, the only furniture they'll have in the space is a chair. So again, you don't want to overburden yourself with props that you'll have to pick up or put down onto the chair or the floor. But after you book the role in any of these mediums, TV, film, and especially theater, what will be crucial is your relationship to your locations, the set, the furniture, and the props that you work with. There's nothing worse than going to a show and seeing actors on stage saying lines without actually doing anything or having any business to do on stage. If that's the case, the story could be told via a podcast. We want the full experience when we go to the theater. So as an actor, when you get on set, it's important to be very intimate with your surroundings. And you need to have a specific relationship to all the props you'll be working with so that the audience will actually feel like you belong in that space. I like to put props in two categories. The first are props that are referenced in the scene that are specific to the story unfolding. For example, a wedding ring that has been passed down 3 generations from mother to daughter. If it becomes a part of the story on the eve of the main character's wedding, it's not just a ring that one actress passes to another actress on a stage. It's a piece of family history, legacy. There's a largeness to what that ring represents. It's a life, an era, a different generation. How the actresses both pass off and receive that ring during each performance can't be casual. Good actors endow props with specific memories and emotional connections, especially if they represent someone deceased or a loved one or a family member or a friend. This is where the imagination comes into play and it's fun. The other category of props are ones that aren't specifically referenced in the play, but are part of the set design. Pillows on the couch, a coffee mug in the kitchen, a planter on the patio. It could be anything that sets the scene. In the case of these props, they can be used creatively during the scene to give yourself business so that you're not just an actor saying lines on a stage. This is where you can bring ideas to rehearsal and collaborate with your director to come up with uses of props and furniture to help tell the story so that the action on stage isn't stagnant. Because outside of what the writer gives you to say and do, it's up to you to create all the moments on the stage from the moment the curtain goes up. It's a tall order. Let's say, for example, your character has been yelled at fiercely, and it's a winter evening in Alaska. If you have a coffee mug with warm coffee in it, maybe in that moment you pick it up and cradle it in your hands to warm yourself up physically and emotionally after you've been put down. The way you deal with that prop helps tell what your character is going through. Or if you're on a subway and it's hot and you're in a suit and tie and you're being harassed, maybe you unbutton the top button of your shirt and loosen your tie. Or maybe you're a struggling writer and you have a manuscript that you hope will reinvigorate your career. If you hold it dearly in your arms like a baby before you pass it off to the editor for the first read, it will inform the audience how much that script means to you. Use props intelligently to help tell the story. Also, let's say you're aggressively grabbing a glass from someone's hand in a scene, or snatching a purse, or anything of a physical nature. Rehearse the hell out of it. Audiences can tell immediately when something feels fake, and it takes us out of the scene instantaneously. Practice with props and check your props before you do a scene, especially on stage, because if you're live and you reach into your pocket for that wallet or that knife or that flower and it's not there, it's very awkward for everybody involved. Now, there's a stage manager who helps with props, but still, double check before the curtain comes up. And when you're on a TV or film set, as soon as the props master gives you your prop, it's your responsibility until they collect it after the scene. So make sure they're in the right place before each take and after each reset. There's nothing worse than having a gorgeous scene going and then a misplaced prop ruins the take. It's a quick cut. You want to incorporate props early in your rehearsal process, because as soon as you start using them, they'll help dictate a rhythm of the scene. But if you don't use them early, they'll throw off the rhythm or whatever you've been working on up until that point. And practice with props so that they become second nature, so that you use the prop. The prop doesn't use you, because they will. They will throw you off every time unless you have a handle on them. This also includes your clothing or anything that's on your person that you need to deal with, like a watch or a bracelet, earrings. If you have to work them in the scene, rehearse with them. Lastly, if you're in a scene and you're the recipient of a verbal barrage or a major monologue, it's better to not fiddle with props in that moment. Don't take a large drink of your whiskey or decide to take off your heavy, clunky overcoat in the middle of their address, especially on stage, because it'll undermine the power of your scene partner in their important moment, and the audience won't get the full punch of the writer's words. Let the words land on you in stillness, and then when they've finished, you can use the prop to react accordingly. So that's a lot of information on the use of props from an audition standpoint to the on-set or stage performance. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll respond to them as soon as I can. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks on how to navigate your acting career, and check out this video on how to set up car, walk and talk, and interrogation scenes for TV and film auditions. I think you'll get something out of it. To my thespian brothers and sisters, I salute you, break a leg, and have a great day.